Hi, so my friend Blake today, he rolled his ankle running, so we're gonna put this ACE bandage on him, which will provide support as well as reduce swelling and ultimately pain. So let's get to it. All right, so now let's get into actually putting the wrap on itself. So you want to first keep your leg in a neutral position, so straighten that out a little bit, foot like that, perfect. And you want to start about 1 to 2 inches below the injury. So in this case, Blake rolled his ankle here, so we're going to start it probably somewhere around right there. You also want to start at an angle and then wrap towards the heart. And while you do so, you want to make sure that you use the overlapping spiral and keep even snug pressure the whole way throughout. And then once you make your way above the injury, then you can start to loosen up on the pressure. So let's get into it here. Get nice and snug. There we go. All right. Now that we're above the injury itself, we can start loosening up just a little bit, not that much though. And there we go. And now we got to put the tongs on. Make sure I don't poke you here. Let me know if this hurts, all right? There's one down. And there's the other. That's how it's done.
Action.
So some sign and symptoms, if I did end up wrapping this too tight, could be starting off with some signs. You could have some pale/bluish skin color. It could be cool to the touch. You could also have some swelling above and or below the injury. Also reduced capillary refill. And then in terms of symptoms, like I said again, if things get too tight down there from the compression wrap, you get some tingling. Your foot could feel cold, like I stated earlier, and it could also get numb.
Action.
So something else that can also help the injury that you've experienced here with the rolled ankle is the PRICE, which stands for Protection, Rest, Ice, Compression, and Elevation. And I'll be speaking a little bit on what each of those means in regards to how you can help this injury. So the purpose of this is just control swelling and promote the healing process. The first letter, protection. So this will, so what we want to do here is just prevent you from moving the injured area to prevent it from, causing further harm. So, and then for the R, rest. So just like any activity where you're on your feet, you're on your ankle, you want to make sure that you're not doing just letting your body, fully recover, because that can make things worse. Ice is another great way to help with the injury as well. This reduces blood flow and should be used within the first 72 hours of when this injury happened. Used for about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what you use. There's a bunch of different options, like I'm sure you know, such as like a cold whirlpool, an ice pack, a variety of different options. So yeah, like I said, 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what you use, or until you feel numb, is how long that you should use it. And this will just help decrease the pain overall, so that's good. And then compression, like what we have here, when done correctly, this reduces space available for swelling to emasculate to providing mild support. Elevation, the last one, this limits the pooling of blood/fluids. Make sure that is done within the first 72 hours. So, within those 72 hours, like I said, make sure that you elevate and ice, if you want to prevent this thing from getting any worse and help it, fully heal. And make sure that you're also elevating above the heart. That's a very important step. So, yeah. Sound good?
Sounds good, bro.
Yeah.